Wow, it seems like an eternity since we've done one of these, kids. We are back. The hockey season is officially underway. Our beloved New Jersey Devils opened up the preseason slate at home this afternoon against the New York Rangers, unfortunately falling short by a score of 5-3 at the Rock. Not going to get too upset about a loss in the preseason. There was some exciting things, takeaways from the game. We'll talk about all of it, but preseason hockey is back, kids. New Jersey Devils 25-26 season is officially underway. Welcome back, Devils fans. It is your host, Ace, here on Running with the Devils, where we are talking New Jersey Devils hockey all year long. Please hit that subscribe button, smash the like, share with a friend. Thank you very much. And wow. I'm a little rusty at these post-game lives. It's been forever since we've done one. Went to the Rock this afternoon for this one. As I've mentioned many times in the past, I always love the preseason. Like to get a look at the kids trying to make the team. Hopefully see some fisticuffs, which we did see. We'll get to that as well. Arseny Gritsuk, guys. The Gritsuk era is finally here. We've been hearing about this guy forever. He was playing in the KHL in Russia. So far, so good. A lot of good reports about him from camp. He had a goal and an assist today for 2 points. All is well on that front. Dawes looked very shaky, but we'll get to all that. We get to the goals. Son of Fitzy gets an assist on the first one for the Rangers. They take the 1-0 lead pretty early on into the game, and then midway through the period, Hallinan on the power play just rips an absolute cannon blast from deep past Quick. What a shot from Hallinan. He's a guy I've liked for the past couple of years. We've talked about him. He seemed like he has that heavier, edgier, more violent game, and thought he'd get a more extended look, if you will, last year with the constant rotisserie of bottom six pieces we saw. I think he got a couple games, and then a bunch of other guys got called up. I don't know, kind of strange. I thought he was close to maybe claiming a bottom six spot last season. We'll see. He's, got a lot of guys competing with him to kind of crack the lineup at some point. I can't see it for him unless there's injuries, but what a beautiful shot. He was all over the place today. Ties it up at 1. We go to the second period, tied at 1. Allen comes out of the game. Dawes comes in, and the Devils just get absolutely pummeled in that second period. 2-1 lead off a broken kind of Rempe chance. All the credit to Rempe, though. He drove the net hard and kind of created that goal. Sheary gets one, then Morrow. 4-1. I think that's the one where Dawes dove at like a shot that was blocked or something. He was way out of position, and they bury it. 4-1 Rangers lead till late in the period when Gritsuk and Cotter connect. Cotter finishes in tight nicely for his first of the preseason. Gritsuk's first NHL preseason point. Love to see that. I think Cotter and Gritsuk have a little something cooking, perhaps. I think that's a pair we may see kind of stick together, maybe with different centers between them at different points. But I did like what we saw from Cotter and Gritsuk. Cut the lead to 4-2, and then the Rangers answer like immediately. Brozinski gives the Rangers the 3-goal lead again at 5-2. We go to the third. Devils down 5-2, and late in the game on a 5-on-3 power play, the Devils were just controlling in the O-zone on the 5-on-3 advantage, and then eventually Gritsuk just fires a nice one. We've heard about the shot, and then we saw it firsthand late in the period, late in the game with the 2-man advantage. Gritsuk gets his first NHL preseason goal from Cholowski and Hallinan. Cuts the lead to 5-3. That's how it ended. And what a game for Gritsuk in his first appearance in the NHL. Pretty damn good. Cotter got stoned on a breakaway too. Cotter could have had 2 goals. But we get to the game stats. Rangers 23 shots on goal, Devils 28. Faceoffs very close. Rangers 48.9, Devils 51.1. Rangers 0% on the power play, going 0 for 3. Devils go 2 for 6, 33.3% on the power play. Hopefully that's a thing we see carry over to the regular season. Devils had a great power play last year. I don't expect it to be anything short of that this year. Penalty minutes, a lot of penalties. Rangers 33, Devils 16. Hits, Devils just more than doubled them up. Rangers with 19. Devils with 45, and then the Devils doubled them up in block shots too. Love the hits, love the block shots. I love both of those stats. Those are signifiers of a team willing to win put their body on the line. Rangers 9 block shots, Devils 18. Rangers 12 giveaways, Devils 9 giveaways. Rangers 2 takeaways, Devils 1 takeaway. And love the hits and block shots. And then we just look at a little bit more in depth. Rooney had 2 blocks and 3 hits. Love to see that from him. Cody Glass with 3 shots. Glendening was very good in the faceoff dot. I cut it off. I think he was like 70% or something. 3 shots for him. Curtis McDermott getting 9:51 of ice time with a block and a hit. Crookshank made a great play to retrieve a puck and keep the play alive in the ozone on that Hallinan goal. Shout out to Crookshank, the Shank. Nathan Laguerre, 11:45. 2 fights for him. We'll talk about those in a moment. I'm just trying to see who else. Paulie Cotter. What an effort from Paulie. 5 shots, a block, and 10 hits. Paulie Cotter, come on down. 10 hits, looking to pick up where he left off last season, becoming the Devils' single-season hit leader. I think he had like 250 or something like that, but 10 in a game. You love to see that. Hallinan with a goal and assist for 2 points, with a block and 3 hits. Bordelot was kind of quiet, I felt, in the game. He had a shot, and obviously Gritsuk, a goal and an assist for 2 points, and led the Devils with 6 shots. 6 shots. Anything else of interest here on the D? Not really. Edwards, pretty solid game for Edwards. Finished a +1. Pretty damn good if your team gives up a 5 spot. +1 for him with 5 blocks and 3 hits on the afternoon. Solid outing for Edwards. I've talked about him before. I think he's a promising young defenseman in the stable for this team. Can't have enough defensemen in the pipeline. Injuries happen. Shit happens. Got to be deep on the blue line, and the Devils definitely have that taken care of. Hopefully, some of these forwards pan out, and we could have some nice forward depth for once as well. But the defense, I'm not worried about. Tons of quality defensemen in the pipeline. Utica should be decent this year. I mean, wow. I mean, we have a lot. There should be at least a handful of guys that should be legitimate NHL players at some point in the somewhat near future playing on Utica this year. We'll see how that goes. But Dawes looked shaky, obviously, coming in cold off the bench for the second period. Devils did not play well in front of him. He was kind of left out to dry, but he definitely looked shaky. It is what it is. Preseason jitters, if you will, maybe. Hopefully he rebounds. But my man, Nathan Laguerre, what a scrap. 2 scraps, really. They weren't the most, insane hockey fights, but you'd love to see the willingness. He fights Aspinall here. They're locked up, and then he eventually scores the wrestling takedown, which was awesome. They don't have a picture of his second scrap. He got in another one as well where he did a little switch stance. I think he went from lefty to righty, or maybe vice versa, but I thought that was a little interesting. He did a little shimmy. I have that. There'll be a video. I'll have a vlog coming out probably tomorrow, which will have some of this stuff in it. But love to see the feistiness from Laguerre. Heavier, edgier, more violent. 2 scraps in your first preseason game. Love to see it. And the disappointment of the afternoon, I have to say, was Big Mac and Rempe. I really thought we would see that rematch. A long-awaited rematch. It's been roughly, 17 months? That fight was in April of 24. Yeah, so you're talking about a year and 5 months. 17 months ago, the famous 5-on-5 brawl against the Rangers, the night that Curtis McDermott became a franchise legend, in my opinion, he did try to get Rempe to go. I think Rempe, declined and didn't want to fight him, but I really thought at some point we may see it. Unfortunately, we did not. But Curtis McDermott getting the A for the alternate captaincy with not a lot of NHL guys in the lineup. Big Mac had an A, Paulie Cotter had an A, and Cody Glass wore the 3 A's for the New Jersey Devils. But who knows? Maybe Rempe's trying to get away from fighting and become a more well-rounded player. I'm not really sure what the roster depth is looking like for the Rangers right now, but I'd imagine, once again, Rempe's kind of a guy on the fringe of either making the big club or being in Hartford in the AHL. So maybe it's something that, he's trying to move away from. But love to see Curtis get the A. I'm sure he enjoyed that. I posted a picture of that from warmups on X, and a lot of people seem to get a kick out of that. But all in all, preseason hockey, guys. I'm not going to look too much into it. Again, main takeaways from this one for me is that Gritsuk has a lot of potential, a lot of promise, and he's one of the biggest wild card elements, in my opinion, as to how our regular season will go. Can he be a guy to constantly produce for this Devils club? I would be thrilled with 40 points out of him. I really would. And maybe he really does have top 6 potential. I don't know, but him and Cotter seem to have a nice little chemistry building. Goal and assist for him in his North American debut. Hopefully he keeps that up. I expect to see him in most of the preseason games. And hopefully he just gets super comfortable and starts tearing it up once the regular season starts. Will be interesting to keep an eye on him. As I mentioned a couple minutes ago, I do think Edwards is very promising. It seems like Keefe is very high on him as well. And who knows, maybe he makes some other defensemen on the team become more tradable. All interesting stuff, but defensive depth can never have enough. Love to see it. Going to get to your comments here. But an exciting afternoon at the Rock. I tried a $22 chicken sandwich. There'll be a little review of that in the vlog as well. Underwhelming. Today I was in regular seats, and it just reaffirmed that in my older age, I have become quite bougie, and it is the sweet life or bust. Sweet life or bust. I can't be out there in the general population fighting for food, for overpriced, terrible quality food on the concourse. I can't be doing it, guys. I got to be in one of the suites and just stuffing my face with the treats they have in there. But the $23 chicken sandwich review will be in the vlog as well. But follow me on Instagram, guys. I just dropped the link in the chat. I'm trying to do more stuff on there. I've been a little neglectful of it. I just dropped the link in the chat. But follow your boy on Instagram, and I'm going to drop the X in there too. I'm getting more involved on X. You guys know I'm not a huge fan of that platform, but I am dropping the link for X in there as well. But yeah, it's club life or bust. I can't be out there, waiting in line for 15 minutes to get gouged on some shit sandwich. I just can't do it. And that's why I tell everybody, with the price of food and how insane it is, you're better off just taking the slighter, extra money beating up front. Buy a sweet ticket that includes the food and just stuff your face and enjoy hockey the way it was supposed to be enjoyed. Sweet life or bust. Let's see what you guys are talking about. Zach says Big Mac looked awful. I mean, yeah, he didn't look great. He fell down, and it is what it is. He's unfortunately probably not going to see a lot of time in the regular season, but I do like the fisticuffs. We didn't see any of it today. John says defense didn't look good. Dubs is like, Don was great in the booth. Howland looked pretty good, and Gritsuk got more comfortable as the game went on. Second period was sloppy, but that's to be expected. Yeah, I'm excited I recorded it. I haven't seen any of it yet. Some of my buddies were texting me during the game. I am excited to go back and kind of listen and watch Don's first appearance on the Devils broadcast after coming over from the Rangers for so long. Oh, wait a minute. We got... bear with me a second here. And Hallinan, always been an interesting guy to me. Tasha, Grits was crazy. Oh my God, that shot and his assist was super impressive. Looked like something Browder would slip to Jack. Well, let's not get crazy, but it was a nice pass. I do think they are going to be together for a little bit. They look like that could be a good tandem. I just lost my spot again. John M. Thought Dawes looked bad today, but holy cows, McDermott washed. Can't skate at all. Only $1 million, but suck it up and buy out. I mean, maybe they could bury it in the minors. What's going on, Nicole? It didn't help. I had Rangers fans high-fiving each other over my head every goal to rub it in. I mean, listen, just tell them, enjoy your preseason victory. I mean, I cheered for the Devils' goals too. But let's be real. I mean, this means nothing. Oh, I am super far behind. I'm so sorry, kids. Let me just I'm just skimming here, trying to get more current times here. I apologize. Devil Heaven, what's up? Hey, Ace, how's it going there, Rizzo? Bring Rizzo, I said. Ritter Engine says Dawes is toast, but I knew that a while ago. I'm not giving up on the kid. He's shown flashes. He got lit up in a preseason period behind a team not playing great. I want to see some more from him, and I'd like to see him behind a real Devils defense, but who knows? That's an interesting thing to keep an eye on, the whole Dawes saga. Are we going to carry 3 goalies? Are we going to hope he doesn't get claimed on waivers? Are they going to try to trade him? Tasha, I used to prefer Dawes over Allen, but since that game against the Red Wings, the final regular season game, I feel like his stock with me has plummeted. I get it. Everyone's in the what have you done for me lately world. Brian, I'm digging that Black Devils jersey ace. Thanks. This is one of my favorites. This is an absolute classic from the 90s. Michael, I'm really high on Legary. Does a lot of things well. John says there was zero chance of a McDermott-Rempe fight in a preseason game. Vets, not babies. I disagree, John. I totally disagree. McDermott tried to get the fight. Rempe didn't want it, but the possibility was definitely there. Husky Unchained, Silky Mitts plus Grits equals. Welcome back, Cotter. Welcome back, Devils. Let's go. That's pretty funny. Nicole, I've been a fan of Edwards for a little bit now. Yeah, I think he's definitely a guy to keep an eye on. And with injuries, who knows? He might leapfrog some guys in front of him on the defensive depth chart. Nicole, club food is way better. Not even close. Yeah, $23, C-Bones. It hurts. It hurts. Tasha says, I love how for the price of food, you could buy a ticket in the hundreds. For sure. For sure. Isaiah, what's going on? Drop a like for Ace. I saw you on the concourse, but wasn't able to say hi. LOL. Hopefully able to in the season. Let's go Devils. What's up, Isaiah? Yeah, hit the like for your boy. Thank you. Yeah, I just fixed that, Tasha. The Rangers blue. It defaults back to it. We're back to red, kids. We are back. John Woodson says, Ace, bro. Ranger Police is on watch. Hit the like. All right, now I'm kind of caught up here. Hokage, it was a decent game. Basically just AHL players with a couple NHLers sprinkled in. Happy for Grits, though. I mean, yeah, that was kind of the main thing for me to see today was, the debut of Gritsuk. I obviously would have liked to see the Devils win, but in the end, like, I if I'm being honest, I don't really care. I just want to see the guys that we need to perform well, and I will take a Gritsuk to Cotter goal, and I will take a game where Gritsuk was firing shots, looked pretty comfortable, settled in, and got one late on the power play. He's as advertised thus far, not too afraid of physicality. Seems like he was in a couple little scrum type situations, didn't back down. The sky may be the limit for this kid. I don't want to get too excited yet. I've already had some of my friends texting me and getting all, hot and bothered for the goal and an assist. But great start so far. Great start. Hopefully he keeps it up. Tasha says, so annoyed LeChance wasn't there. He would have helped so much. I absolutely love LeChance. As you guys know, he is a throwback. I think he does a little bit of everything. He brings some size and tenacity to the lineup and was one of the guys I was the most pumped for the preseason. And it's unfortunate that he's been out of camp and the preseason because of injuries he sustained in Buffalo in the Prospects Challenge, just leaving it all out there. I'm hoping he comes back soon and we could see him in at least a preseason game or two. It's really unfortunate, but as Fitz likes to say, that creates opportunity. And who is going to seize the opportunity? What is going to be the opening night lineup? There's really only one or two spots, in my opinion, that are even in question. But we're going to see how this goes. Tuesday night, back in action against the Isles. Mark, what's going on? Nico Dawes, the Kwame Brown of the preseason. Rangers, we beat the Devils in the preseason, banner being raised Tuesday. Yeah, they're going to put it back right next to the regular season champs. Tasha, jersey is sweet. Thank you. Yeah, preseason champs. Chris, MSG Broadcast finally adding a shot counter is the best off-season acquisition. So I haven't literally seen anything. I just got home from the game a few minutes before I jumped on here, and I had to click the, get all my graphics and crap ready. So I haven't seen anything of the broadcast yet. I did record it thanks to the magic of the Fios DVR recording capabilities, and I will be checking it out at some point tonight, and very excited to see Don and whatever else has been changed or upgraded on the broadcast. But I do think Don and Dano are going to be magical. I'm curious what you guys thought of the first appearance of Don. Michael, I'd move Dawes to Utica tonight. After that performance, he might clear. I don't know. I think still teams would take a chance. John, I will say that was a crazy game in general. I wasn't expecting the Rangers AHL squad to play better hockey than the NHL Rangers squad. Devil Heaven, beautiful fall day in upstate New York. Devils hockey in the air, homemade chicken parm side of Riggs. Very nice. I'm very jealous. I should find out if there's – I might have to text family and friends and see if there's a dinner I could crash, like a nice home-cooked Sunday dinner. I'm going to have to look into that, but you got me hungry now. But yeah, the fall is almost here. I think the last day of summer is officially tomorrow. Bittersweet time, but hockey is back, my friends. Richard, damn, missed most of the game, was picking up deer jelly beans all over the lawn here in Northern Bergen County. I could go for a $22 chicken sandwich and an $18 beer. Way to go, Ace. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Like, and my heart goes out to the young people. I mean, everything is just so expensive nowadays. Yeah, like the chicken, I think you probably, maybe the Rangers was a bad example, but like you could buy tickets for the game, the Tuesday night game against the Islanders. You could get tickets for like nothing, for way less than the cost of a chicken sandwich at the Rock. I mean, yeah, I'm looking right now. There's literally tickets for $4, guys. Like, this might be the cheapest you could ever go see an NHL hockey game. I'll call it NHL with an asterisk. But I will say, if you live in the area, or even if you don't, if you want to go to a Devils game and it's kind of a financial burden for you, while it's not the same product, obviously, and you're not going to see the same players, I could not recommend more than to go buy a ticket for $5 or $10 for the Tuesday night game against the Islanders and get your ass to the Rock. You're going to see, again, asterisk, NHL players. At worst case, I think you'll probably see Gritsuk, and maybe in that game we play some more of the studs. I have no idea what to expect in terms of the lineup for that game, but you're never going to get into a game cheaper, and so go look into it. The Tuesday night game, the 23rd against the Isles, you could get tickets for as low as $5, guys. I mean, if you've been wanting to go to a game, Tuesday night is the one. Cheap, cheap, cheap. My computer's acting up here. Hokage Grit's after game interview was nice. He seems like a funny kid. Yeah, I heard some of that in the car. There's tickets for $3, guys. 100 level. Not even the 200 level. There's tickets in the 100 level for $3 and $5. I mean, my God. And no shortage of them. Man, that's going to be a brutal attendance. There might be like 6,000 people there. Maria says, at least we avoid the preseason curse. Yeah, we're not going undefeated this preseason. Michael, I'm glad we played a lot of guys gunning for the 3C and 4C, and we did well on faceoffs. Nico needs a break. Yeah, I mean, is Lamico going to be a guy to maybe, help out here? Glenn Denning took I can't see how many faceoffs he took. They just show his percentage. But yeah, Nico's been taking faceoffs to insane levels. Tasha says, rumor has it the big dogs are playing Tuesday night. I'm excited because I have tickets. Very nice. I hope they are. I'll probably try to go to that one too. It's a preseason game that shows who belongs. Cody, they changed the ice cream to Carvel in the restaurant. Interesting. Carvel in the building, huh? I forget what it used to be, but it was, do they give you was it like the pre-made cups that are kind of rock hard and you got to let them thaw out for a minute, Cody, or was it more soft serve? Tasha, the tickets to the Tuesday night game, there were some for 13 down in the lower bowl. Should have waited to buy, so I'm stuck in the hundreds. Holmes says, Tuesday, my usual seats are $17. Yeah, I mean, preseason hockey, you get a deal. Brandon, all I see on social media is the Gritsuk goal and people praising him like he's the best player in the NHL. My God, it was a 5-on-3 goal. Let's see a 5-on-5. Come on, Brandon. Let people be excited. But that's the first thing I told my buddy, too. I was like, listen, he looked good. He was all over the place, got a lot of shots. Obviously, had that nice assist on the Cotter goal. But it was a 5-on-3 power play goal. I do agree. Like, I'm not proclaiming that he's, the next Ovechkin. But so far, so good. I am excited by the potential for him. Husky Unchained, stay off social media. I do believe social media is ruining society in every imaginable way. But, that's a topic for another day. But my God, social media, what a cesspool. Richard, Ace, how'd the shank look today? He made a nice hustle play on that on the first goal. He kept possession alive in the ozone. He kind of hustled to a puck, got it to, I think maybe it was Hardman, before Hallinan blasted it. But I thought the shank looked pretty good. Samuel, maybe the Devils owner should wake up. I couldn't buy preseason tickets in 2001 for $2. I mean, they were pretty cheap back then too, but I do think with the advent of technology, Samuel, nowadays with all these secondary market platforms, I think the obvious no demand becomes much more apparent, and it causes prices to crater, and that's why you see tickets for practically nothing right now. SST says Sullivan is better than Keefe. Carvel, wow. Yo, Holmes, Section 4, row 12, $17. Yo, Holmes, Angus did well, set up the first power play goal. I just mentioned that. Nice little hustle play by him. Cody, the Carvel ice cream was soft serve. It was pretty good. I mean, Carvel soft serve, you could never go wrong. Could never go wrong. Carvel is such a treat. I'll be honest. I had quite a bit of ice cream this summer, but I was trying to make a conscious effort of mostly avoiding the large chains and trying out like more boutique-y kind of ice cream places. My mother is obsessed with gelato, so I did like a little gelato tour with her at some point. There was a couple weeks in the summer we were just hitting different gelato spots. And I also tried a bunch of different ice cream places in and around the Jersey Shore over the course of the summer, which is always, when I'm down the shore, ice cream's like it's a must. It's a must, amongst other things, but the ice cream is always a little a cap on the day. Tasha says, Gritsuk the next Ovechkin. You say, no, I'm definitely not saying. I would never put that sort of expectation on anybody, but I am excited about the kid. We've been hearing about him forever, and hopefully he has a solid year because we're going to need it. We absolutely need it, and he could be a key to bottom six production if that's, in fact, where he stays. Now, could he potentially find his way in the top six at some point? Absolutely. It seems like Mercer and Dadonov are going to be the two guys to join our core four in that top six, but nobody's name is etched in stone. Someone could fall out of that spot, and Gritsuk very well at some point may take up that mantle. But for now, it seems like he's going to be in the bottom six, potentially the fourth line, and hopefully he could just contribute. Him and Cotter both, I think, if they are on that fourth line, I do think they both have much higher ceilings than fourth line players. And so if your lineup dictates those two guys being together on the fourth line, I think that's an amazing luxury to have, and it could give us a very nice, balanced offensive attack. To have two guys like Cotter and Grits on the fourth, sign me up. Sign me up. John faces Angus Beef did well today, so did Ethan Edwards. Tasha, yeah, who gets hard scoop ice cream from Carvel? Well, I don't know. In the arena, I thought they might have them pre-done. A lot of times they're kind of pre-packed and dropped in the freezer. That's why I was curious what the setup was. Tasha says, can't believe they have Carvel. Prue Center is moving up in life. The Carvel, the Fudgy the Whale cake, yo, Holmes. What do you know about the Fudgy the Whale? An amazing, amazing birthday tradition for many. Devil Heaven, my lawn is starting to look like a fairway again. Rain coming from a dry summer. Samuel, we had a Mr. Softy truck this year. Lamico for King. Cisco Kid, I was watching the Hockey Guys review of the game today. The Rags fans are saying they are definitely winning the Cup. I mean, if anyone makes Cup predictions based on a singular preseason game, shit, if you make Cup predictions off even a string of regular season games, but a meaningless preseason game where lots of NHL players are not playing on both sides, that's truly wild. Tasha, ice cream is my favorite food. I didn't have nearly enough this summer. If you go to Milano Cortina, the gelato in Italy is like no other. You have to be downing multiple a day. I've heard this from so many people, and the plan is to get to the Olympics. And obviously, I'm going to be eating everything in sight from as many places as possible. I want to like get lost in like the countryside and just go eat like amazing food. I've wanted to do that forever, and hopefully I have the chance. Cody, will Gritsuk get a chance to play with Jack and Brad? It's possible at some point. It seems like he's going to start off with probably Paulie Cotter and either Cody Glass or Lamico, I would have to guess. But depending on how everything else goes, I would think there's a chance you could see him anywhere. You never know what's going to happen with this kid. Brandon, I personally think our forward group is so bad that Gritsuk can easily, without a problem, fill a top six role. There is no competition. I mean, you can't completely write off Mercer and Dadonov. This is the kid's first season. Yes, his first year in the NHL. Dadonov is a crafty vet, obviously much older, but veteran experience and hockey IQ go a long way. And then obviously Mercer, a young guy, plays with some spunk. We've all been kind of waiting to see, is he going to be a legitimate top 6 player? Is he going to be more of a middle 6 player for most of his career? What is his true role in his second year of a 3-year deal? Mercer, I think, is another big key to the season. What do we get out of Dawson Mercer, and does he stick in the top 6? But I think Gritsuk is going to be that guy kind of waiting in the wings, where if someone slips up and either Dadonov or Mercer are not pulling their weight on those top 2 lines, you might see Gritsuk get the shot to go on one of those lines. And if he gets it, he may never look back. He may be off to the races. Michael, be there Tuesday. $1 shooters in hand. No $18 beers for me. Hopefully we get more of the NHL squad. Yeah, you can't beat the $1 shooters, right? Yeah, $18 beers. Like what a time to be alive. Like if you have like even a family of 4, a mom and dad and 2 kids, to bring them to a game with tickets, parking, even if you just had a chicken sandwich and a soda each, you're talking about hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Yeah, buying food in the arena is just a losing proposition no matter what. I had an idea for a video about going to a game on the cheap. I might do that this year. I thought about it last year, but I might finally pull the trigger this time around this year. Khalil, if Mercer and Dadonov top 6, where's Palat going third line? More than likely, yeah. Or potentially shipped out, but I do think if that was going to happen, it would have already. Tasha says, now the debate is Lamico or Crookshank. SST says, ice cream is one of the most unhealthy foods in the world. You're going to die young, Tasha. I mean, really, guy? Like, come on, man. From eating ice cream sometimes? She's not saying she's eating it every single day of her life 3 times a day. Brandon, I think Mercer is too much defense first-minded player to be a top 6 role. Yeah, but defensively responsible is a nice element to have. You don't want guys that are just selling out completely for offense and are a defensive liability. Mercer, I think, I hope it translates for him, because this is a big year for him, and I do think I always thought he had the potential to be a real top 6 guy. Let's see. He's still super young too. Like, we forget he came into the league young. Is this going to be kind of a coming out year for Mercer? I hope it is. Cody Skills says, thoughts on Cotter and Glass this season. How many points will they put up? Man. Let's see. Cotter is a wild card to me too, but it seems like for whatever reason, he's going to be in that bottom 6. I mean, realistically, yeah, last year he started off super hot. Paulie had 22 points in 79 games last year. I mean, for Cotter, I think 30 to 35 would be damn good. I mean, obviously 40 is better, but 30, 35, I think for Cotter is pretty decent. I'll say 35 for Cotter would be nice. If he put it this way, if he plays with Gritsuk for any length of time, I think he's easily hitting 35 points. Cody Glass. Again, if he plays with those 2 for like all season, it could be interesting. I'm going to go kind of the same for him. If he plays with those 2, he needs to have like 35 points. Hopefully more, but I think 35 is a fair kind of target. Yeah, 18 a beer, Devil Heaven. People getting taxed out here. Rainey says, late to the party, a brutal start to the season. Yeah, but it's preseason. Come on. Let's not get too down on the performance. In the end, the main headline of the day is Gritsuk looks legit. And it looks like he has great chemistry with Paulie. Husky Unchained, that assistant captain McDermott jersey is a must for your collection. Freaking epic. You just know Curtis is going to frame that shit. It's like the John Scott All-Star jersey. I'm not going to lie. Even when I was a kid, I always loved, that was another element of preseason games. Aside from seeing rookies you might not see during the regular season, the insane amount of fisticuffs. The third one was always seeing unexpected guys wearing letters on their jersey. It was always another fun element of preseason games. But I will tell you, one of my buddies actually texted me from in the arena right at when warm-up started, and he was like, how could I get that McDermott jersey with the A? And the reality is that at some point, the A will be unstitched from that jersey by the equipment managers. And so 99.8% chance that that jersey is not intact with the A. That jersey will be worn during the regular season, and they will just take the A off. Yo, Holmes says, never eat at the arena. Food is brutal unless you go full sweet life or all-inclusive. Yeah, I know. I was in Gen Pop today. There was no way around it. I had to go general population, and it felt dirty. It really felt dirty. The OG NJ Devils fan, hey, Ace, I thought the NHL said teams have to put a number of NHL players in preseason games. There is some sort of criteria, but I'm sure, like, while it wasn't our mainstay NHL roster, there was a ton of guys playing today that have NHL experience that probably fulfilled the criteria. So whatever this criteria is, and I forget exactly what it is, the Devils obviously met the mark. Just with some of our, less impressive or bigger name players. Bob Jones says, Bordelot looked okay, made a few nice plays, definitely stood out to me. Brandon, here's a decent question after the new additions to the team. Does Cotter still have the best hands on the team to score on one-on-one on the goaltender? In terms, if you're talking about like shootout and finishing ability, I'm still going to say in that regard that Cotter still has the best hands, or at least, amongst the best on the team. But in the shootout, he's proven to be more deadly than even some of the big guns. Until someone takes that belt away from him, for now, I'm going to say it resides with Paulie C. Yo, Holmes, love preseason. I'm 100% with Ace. Have that old Danico hockey card with him wearing the C from preseason. Oh man, hold on, I'm going to pull it up. I know exactly. I have it too. And it is funny when some of these things are made into cards. Like when a preseason photo makes it onto a card. But the one that he's talking about, I know exactly what it is because I remember the first time I got it as a kid, I freaked out. And there it is. It's a Pinnacle hockey card with Dana wearing the C with the old school Cooper bucket. Man, what a time to be alive. Watching Kenny D in his prime just smashing people. What an era of hockey. But, yeah, that was one of the first cards I could remember where you're like, damn, Dano with the C. Yeah, and a lot of time, some of those things get forgotten about. But when it gets immortalized on a hockey card, hockey cards are forever. Dano with the C. Love to see it. Rainey, it wouldn't be so bad with it being preseason, but we aren't going to see this Devils-Rangers rivalry until January. Oh, no, Rainey, you got it confused. You're not going to see it till March. You're not going to see that matchup until March. I believe it's March 7th. Schedule makers are completely insane. I just don't know what the logic there is. It seems like the schedule makers are just devoid of any logic. To make us wait till March is maniacal. And to only play 3 times, I mean, I hate to keep being that guy and say how everything was better back in the day, but like nearly everything was better back in the day. So I don't know, because SST is a weirdo. Nicole, Tosh, you don't have to defend yourself. Everyone's on your side and loves ice cream too, especially gelato. Yo, if you have any New Jersey gelato recommendations, definitely drop them in the chat. Preferably looking for the softer variety. My mother is very partial to the soft, the very soft kind. She doesn't like the hard gelato where it's like more like ice cream. She likes that whipped, more like Carvel-ish, if you will, like more soft serve-ish. And most places don't seem to have that. Most places it seems to be on the more deep frozen variety, but I'm on the hunt. It's one of my mother's favorite snacks, the whipped gelato. No, since I would eat ice cream every day for the rest of my life if possible. Devil have an ace. What's the process when our devs go for New Jersey? Companies, GMs, rights. I have no idea what you're talking about. What is the process when our devs go for New Jersey? Yeah, I don't know, Devil Heaven. You're going to have to clarify what that means. Yep, that classic card, Yo Holmes. Classic card. Husky Unchained, it's a cheap card. It's a common. It's 90. I believe it's 94.95 Pinnacle. It's or maybe 95.96 Pinnacle. It's one or the other. It's either 94.95 or 95.96. I think it's 95, 96, actually. But an epic card. I remember the first time I got it. I think I actually got it in a pack. That's back when boxes weren't $1 billion. Now I just buy tons of hockey, boxes of hockey cards and shred them. And that was the year that I was trying to pull one of my favorite hockey cards of all time. Actually, is my there was an insert set in Pinnacle called Masks, and the Marty one was eluding me forever. And I think I bought a few boxes trying to get it. And then I went to card shows and couldn't find it. And then obviously the card ends up not being nearly as rare as you think. But back in the 90s, the world, if you will, was pretty small. It was like whatever dealers were at the local card show. And I'd go every week looking for this Marty mask and no one had it. Of course, now with the advent of the internet and all these platforms where people sell cards and shit, like if that existed back then, I would have found it in 2 seconds. But in that time, it was just you're hunting in the wild at card shows, and I couldn't find it. John says, no, we don't meet them until March, and we play them 3 times that month, 1 at Peru and 2 at the Garden. Terrible. Samuel, save the games till the playoffs are on the line. Don't agree, but what can you do? Michael S., I do like the Talenti. As well. Husky Unchained found it for $5. It should be cheaper than that. It's probably like if that includes shipping, then I guess shipping is almost that these days. It should be inexpensive. Tasha, Benvenuti and Montclair, some really good gelato. So it's pretty funny that you say that, Tasha, because right now, as it stands, on my mother's rankings, Benvenuti is number 1. We've only been to like 3 or 4. Her number 1 ranking is Benvenuti, and it's largely in part because of the consistency. It's very soft. I think they have it like kind of turning in that thing. Not a lot of places have that. Benvenuti's her number 1. I've been trying to find one that's better. Haven't found it yet. Have not found it yet. It's definitely soft. Cody, favorite non-Glory Days player? Cody, it's a good one. I guess. What are you considering the end of the Glory Days? Like, what year did the Glory Days end in your opinion? Like, you got to tell me that, and then I could answer the question. But you have to tell me when the Glory Days cut off. Michael, being we only get 1 Devils Rangers game at the Rock this year, everyone with season tickets definitely need to not resell to Rags fans. We need to keep the seats red this year. Yeah, good luck with that, Michael. I'm sure, I'm not here to judge people what they do with their tickets. But every time there's going to be people that take the payout, and I understand why. I mean, season tickets are pretty expensive. If you can cash in your tickets and kind of defray the cost of some of the rest of the season, some people can't resist. It is what it is. There was a ton of Rangers fans there today as well. Devil have an ace. Oh, shit. What did I hit here? How does the process of releasing a new Devils jersey, who is involved? Oh, a new Devils jersey. Oh, I don't know. I don't even know that they've actually ever fully announced like the full details of it, but it definitely involves the manufacturer of the jerseys, which would be Fanatics. Obviously, the league has some say in it. And then I'm sure, the whole organization, whether that's ownership, the marketing department, the GM's probably not too involved. I'm sure they might have some say, but it's a lot of people, a lot of red tape, a lot of legality stuff, I'd imagine. And who knows when the next one comes. But I would love to see a new alternate of some kind brought soon. Nicole says, Devils after party at Benvenuti and Montclair someday. So it's not too far from the arena, but I feel like it's too far to do something like that. Tasha, let's go. Caramel was so good. That's the only flavor I've had. So I normally get the hazelnut, which is very good. But my mother has been clamoring for, and they only had it one time, mascarpone. And I tried hers, and I messed up. The mascarpone was better than the hazelnut. But the hazelnut they seem to have all the time. Mascarpone is like a limited edition. They only have it once in a while. Noah Ace, prediction for the Rag season would be hilarious if they missed the playoffs again. I don't know. The Metro's not great. They have Shesterkin. I think it'd be crazy if they missed the playoffs, to be honest. I'm going to say they get into the playoffs. Samuel says 2003. What is that in reference to, Samuel? 2003. What's going on, Rob? Good to see a good game, though. Preseason after a long summer, for sure. The OG NJ Devils fan. Yo, Ace, why the hell have they not retired John McClain's jersey and number? He absolutely deserves that and belongs in the club. I hate to break your heart, OG NJ Devils fan. I have to say I disagree. Now, before you jump down my throat, he was the franchise points leader for a very long time before Patty broke the record. Won a cup with the Devils in 95, had some big seasons, was part of the shit years in the red and green. And for all of those reasons, I think Johnny Mac belongs in the Ring of Honor, for sure. Definitely belongs in the Ring of Honor. But when you start talking about jersey retirement, no, my friend. The jersey retirement honor has to be for the elite of the elite. And the gentlemen that are up in the rafters right now, obviously, we'll just recap them real quick. The great Martin Brodeur, Scott Stevens, Scott Niedermayer. We'll start with them. 3 cups apiece, 95, 2000, 2003. They were all on all 3 cup teams. Top 100 players of all time, first ballot Hall of Famers. They are creme de la creme. Then you have Mr. Devil, Kenny Danico, here for all 3 cups. Much deserving of the jersey retirement. And then obviously Patrick Elias, 2-time cup champ with the Devils in 2000, 2003. All-time franchise leading point scorer. Well-deserved for him as well. Those 5 guys, to me, are so far beyond anyone else who's ever worn a Devils jersey in the history of the organization that I think, and again, I like Johnny Mac, but I think there's a clear distinction between jersey retirement honor and Ring of Honor. And I think Johnny Mac is a perfect candidate for the Ring of Honor, but I do not think the jersey retirement is warranted. Yo, Holmes says, I guess I'm going to get some gelato now. Brandon says, Samuel Molinari, he's going to say Taylor Hall. That was too easy. No. You said favorite, not best season. John, what's going on? What's up, big dog? Benvenuti is banging. It really is. Amagi, what's going on, my man? My season ticket holder friend has never gone to a single Devils Rangers game at the Rock because he's scared of the experience. Amagi, I think he's bullshitting you. I think he likes the experience of selling them for a lot. Husky Unchained says, glory days ended during the lockout for me. Yo, Holmes, when Stevens left, glory days left with him. It is true. Man, what a time to be alive, huh, Yo, Holmes? Scotty Stevens. There'll never be another one. Tasha, Honey and Hive in Maplewood has some very good boutique, if you will, type ice cream. It's like artisanal or something it's called. It's not gelato, but it's pretty soft with that consistency for ice cream. All right, I'm going to have to tab that. Honey and Hive. All right, I'm always on the lookout for new spots. I'll keep that in my back pocket. Brandon, I'm pretty sure after the glory days, Taylor Hall is the best player the Devils picked up. He dragged the Devils to the playoffs. If you're talking about single season, I will say that Taylor Hall 17-18 season, it just can't be dismissed. And a lot of people hate on Taylor Hall, and I get it, the way he left and he put his glove to his ear after he complained that the Devils fans booed a power play where they're passing around. But in the end, the only league MVP in Devils history, the only person to ever win the Hart Trophy as a member of the Devils, which is kind of crazy considering some of the names that we've had in the history of the organization. Marty, mainly Marty, but then you're talking about guys like, I guess defensemen, it's hard, but we've had some names. And for him to be the first guy to win MVP, it says a lot. And that team did not belong in the playoffs. He did drag us there. And in terms of like most impressive single season performances by a Devils player, that Taylor Hall one would probably be number 1 for me. Cody says, glory days, in my opinion, were 94 to 2006. I would say there's something along that as well, Cody. Somewhere in that range for sure. Devil Heaven says, Nicole, are you still? Oh, you guys are savages. Nicole says, no, she's still married. Nicole, it's rough out here for some of these people. Samuel says, the end of the glory is 2003. Justin Smith, Dawes was awful. I mean, the team did not play good in front of him. But, yeah, he obviously looks shaky. Hopefully he gets a chance to kind of redeem himself in the preseason. Yo, Holmes, La Rocca is my jam in Montclair as far as Italian food goes, bro. That's my mother's favorite restaurant. I've actually never been there. But that's her favorite restaurant. John, it sucks we may never see another Glory Days. I hope I'm wrong, and I feel like I'm wrong, but still nothing will beat the Glory Days. No, I don't think we'll ever see it again either, Faye. I'm just hoping to be competitive every year and hopefully win one damn cup before I die. But to see a team, like I said, whenever you have a team with literally three all-time greats simultaneously, it's hard to ever think you're going to see that again. And Marty, Scott Stevens, Scott Niedermayer are legitimately three legendary players of the sport. And we had them all at once. Not very likely to happen for any team really ever again. Never mind the Devils. SST says, nobody who wore the Rangers sweater should be acknowledged in any way. I understand, but I feel like that's like a fifth grader mentality. I mean, Johnny Mac definitely deserves the Ring of Honor, despite his Rangers transgression. Yeah, LaRocca. Tasha says, what, you want to retire Hall's jersey now? Michael asks, I love Johnny Mac. Ring of Honor is fair. Yeah, Ring of Honor is where it's at. Noah, remember when Kobe mocked the crowd after scoring against us? I think it was for Montreal. I don't remember that. I'm going to have to look that one up. Tasha, our depth was too good during the Glory Days, I guess. Wonder if Fitz was alive. He could watch some clips and take notes. I mean, Fitz was playing in the league. He knows exactly what it was. But it is a different league now, and, not every type of player that was useful then would be kind of the same value in today's league, but there's still a place for some of that stuff. Yo, Holmes, Hall was a Superman that season. I've never seen anyone so dialed in offensively. Yeah, it was a wild year. What a year for Hall. He felt like a complete threat every time he was on the ice. Del1177, hey, Ace, top 3 best Scotty Stevens hits on the Devils. He had a lot before that also. Obviously, number 1, Game 7, 2000 Eastern Conference Finals. After being down 3-1 in the series, Devils win Game 5, Game 6, force a Game 7 in Philly, KOs Lindros. That, to me, is the number 1 Stevens hit of all time and one of the best hockey hits of all time. Number 2, I'm going to have to go with Game 6 in the 0-3 Finals, even though the Devils lost the game. Scott Stevens absolutely flattening Paul Kariya. And then credit to Kariya, he came back to life. Somehow. He came back to life somehow and scored a goal. But that would be number 2. And then number 3, I'm thinking of all playoff ones. Number 3 would have to either be when he crushed Kozlov in the 95 finals, and then he went after Cicerelli and said, you're next. Or was it in 2000 or 2001? I forget. No, it was in, I think it was 2001 when he crushed Francis, and Ron Francis got up and collapsed to the ice 4 times before getting to the bench. I mean, just some absolutely devastating hits from Scotty Stevens. And you can't talk enough about this guy. He put the fear of God in other teams. It made teams play differently, and guys are just shitting themselves out there. How could you not? Knowing when you saw number 4 out there patrolling the blue line, you're like, I got to think quick, move quick. If I do the wrong thing, I'm going to end up not only on a highlight reel, but I'm going to end up on a stretcher because this guy is just a piece of granite flying around on the ice, killing people. Man, what a disruptive force. S.J. Hallinan has a rocket one-timer. Yes, he does. Matthias Tenby will be in the Raptors. Yo, Holmes, Johnny Mac lived in NJ. Why wouldn't he sign with the Rangers after Lou did him dirty? Brandon, I actually think it's possible to have 3 greats on the Devils if the Hughes brothers get a lot better, and if we get all 3 of them, it's possible. I mean, listen, that's 3 potential all-stars, or at least 2 all-stars and a all-star hopeful in Luke. But if I'm being honest, it's no comparison. I'm sorry. Quinn Hughes maybe go down as an all-time great. The other two, I don't see it. And it's not to discredit them. It's just to give proper credit to how excellent and how great Marty, Stevens, and Niedermeyer were. Like, they are just, it's a different cat. Like, we're talking like in 50, 100 years from now, history will still look at those guys as all-time greats. It's just a different, they're royalty, loyalty, whatever you want to call it. A class of their own almost. Samuel says the salary cap killed the Devils' glory. Husky Team Canada hanging in the rafters with Eliash. John NJ Devils 45. Nicholas Creamery in Red Bank, Middletown area. Best around. Check out if around the shore. So it's funny you mentioned that. That was one of the spots I did go this summer. They had some really interesting flavors. They had like a tomato and they had some real funky ones. I got more traditional ones. I think I got the 3 scoops, and one was like some kind of cookies and milk or something, and like a peanut butter one and something else. But also, very, as far as ice cream goes, one of the better ice cream places, regular ice cream I've had in a while. Michael, John Mack started crying during his interview when he announced he was leaving. The guy loved the Devils. Yeah, it wasn't great the way he left, but, not everybody could be on the team forever. Devil Heaven says 88, 95, 2K, 03. It was all about not the best team, the right team. Cody, I feel like we will win against Tampa and Blue Jackets and lose to Canes for our first 3 games. Okay. It's an interesting. Tasha ended quite a few careers. Scott Stevens did. Husky, that Stevens stare made my hair stand on end. What a unbelievable man that Scott Stevens is. Yeah, the Francis hit Ronnie looked like a deer on the highway. It's true. His legs were just jello. He got up and like crumbled. Let me drop that in the chat for those that don't know. For you young kids that have no idea what us old timers are talking about, I'm gonna drop a link in the chat, and you're gonna just see a devastating. Oh my God, the quality's so bad. The quality's so bad. It looks like Super Nintendo or something. But I'm gonna drop the link in the chat. That kind of gives the idea. Stevens crushes him. He's got no legs left, and you just see him collapse on the ice. Robert, don't forget, like, subscribe, and share the friend. Let's go Devils. Scotty was a bear out there. Tasha, if we lose to the Canes that first game, I generally don't know what I would do, but the PTSD flashbacks would be coming on strong. Obviously, how our season ended at their hands in Carolina, blowing a 3-goal lead. It sucks. I want to get retribution in the playoffs, and I'd love to beat them. I would love to beat them in the playoffs. I'm not going to put too much. I'm not going to put too much into a regular season in terms of I'm not going to be obsessed over a regular season, the first game of the year. But it would be nice to beat them. But the reality is, the retribution needs to come in the playoffs. Beating them in the opening game would be nice. But the playoffs is where we really have to get them. But beating them in the regular season would be nice. Colleen, we have a Nicholas Creamery here in Atlantic Highlands. Ice cream doesn't get better than that place. Yeah, very good. How about that Crookshank? The Shank. Nicole was a fan of the fights this game, especially the first one. Yeah, anyone that ends in a wrestling takedown. It's exciting for the fans. Would have liked to see more punches. Cody, the fact he wasn't as paid much compared to the players of today is crazy. He had such an impact on the game of today. Well, the money is money's very different now. Obviously, inflation, the salary cap going up. Guys are getting paid way more than guys back then did. That's just the reality of all sports. Salaries just continue to go. And also with those salaries and the salary cap goes the ticket prices. Eventually, tickets are just going to be ridiculous. You're going to have to be a billionaire to go to sporting events at some point. It is getting ridiculous, but Devil Heaven, yeah, Edwards has that natural talented ability. You can see a Luke, Sheamus plus Michigan Elite. Zach W says Strolos. I also made it there. I'm a big fan of the Hurricane, I think they call it. It's like kind of like something they mix up for lack of a better comparison at the moment. It's kind of like, I guess, like a Frosty or a McFlurry, like where they mix all the shit in there. Was a big fan. And I also got one of the ones from there, Zach, that was like ice cream on one side and ice on the other. Very interesting. Tampa's SST says Tampa had 5 future Hall of Famers at the same time. Future Hall of Famers and all-time greats are very different, in my opinion. But yeah, obviously, lots of teams had. In the 90s, I would say there was some other teams up there with the Devils that had all-time greats as well. When you look at the Avalanche, and in the early 2000s as well. But 90s and early 2000s, Avalanche, Wings, the Stars. Some years there was some stacked teams. Tasha says best gelato flavors have to be Carmelo and Stracciatella. I think it's supposed to be Stracciatella in my book. SJ Grits, 1 goal, 1 assist. Nice. Samuel says, hell, Ace, you are a kid in my world. Well, everybody's a kid to somebody, right, Samuel? But I certainly feel freaking old. Tasha, but if we do win that Canes game, I would see the momentum carrying us to the 4-game win streak. I mean, that's a big leap, but that would be nice. I would love to see it. John, Ace, did you make it down the shore this summer? And if so, where? I went to a lot of different shore points at various times. I've made it to Long Branch, Bradley Beach, Belmar, Point Pleasant. I think that's most of them. SST, do you still enjoy talking to most of us, or is it all of us already? No, it's most of you. It'll never be all. Be happy with most. Samuel, Applegate. Applegate, another one. I haven't been there in forever. That's like an old school institution. Been around for, I don't know, forever. I haven't been there in a minute. Homemade ice cream at the barn. Devil Heaven says, let's see. I'll go Kozlov 95, Lindros 2K, and Korea 03, so many others. Yeah, those are 3 of the best ones for sure. Yeah, I guess I probably would put Kozlov over Ron Francis, but so many legendary ones. But yeah, the playoff ones are the ones that you kind of remember more, but there's been plenty of them in the regular season too. Billy D, what's up? Hey, Ace, and everyone. Tasha Applegate has some good ice cream. Trolling in Paradise. The horn will sound, and the Rangers have taken the Devils out in 4 straight. Doc Emmerich from his broadcast in the 2008 playoffs, where the Devils got swept in the first round. And I have to imagine this is coming from a clown Ranger fan whose team may not have won a damn thing in their lifetime. If you are under 31 years old, you would only know of Rangers Stanley Cup anything from your father or grandfather's VHS tape. But thank you for that oh-so-wise comment, Trolling in Paradise. I'd like to point out that the New Jersey Devils have won 3 Stanley Cups since your last. And the Devils have also knocked you out in the last 2 meetings in the playoffs. First round in 2023 and the Eastern Conference Finals, you may remember, in 2012. You may remember a man by the name of Adam Henrique, and his goal went a little something like this. Henrique, it's over! Past Queen Hank. And the Devils go to the Cup Finals, and your boys went to golf. But keep on talking. Keep on talking that slick talk, Trolling in Paradise. I could troll too. Cody Skills, this year we need to make it to the 3rd round. Completely agree. Eastern Conference Finals or bust has been my motto for a couple months now. And I don't think it's an unreasonable hope or expectation for this team. But we'll see. We need to stay healthy. Some other things got to go our way, but I do think an Eastern Conference Finals appearance is certainly not out of the question. Devil 1177, 90s team, Bulldozers, yes. And guess what? We smoked Detroit at their best 95 sweep. We overtook that Russian ship. They had tons of great players. The whole media picked the Devils to just get crushed. And it was, in fact, the Devils who swept the juggernaut Red Wings in 4 games to capture the first cup in franchise history. John, when you were in Bradley Beach, did you try Vic's Pizza? No, when I went to Bradley, I actually didn't. I don't think I ate there that day. A lot of times I'll kind of move around all over the place. So I didn't eat anything in Bradley. SST, but it's been to most of you not that long ago. Tasha, why are Rangers fans acting like this is their year? The same reason why tons of other fan bases are. Because they haven't won shit in 31 years. They're desperate to win. I mean, it makes sense. I'm hoping this is our year too. Henrique, it's over. Devil Heaven, watch out for those clowns at that time of year. The rags, piece of trash, no cup in 85 years. Evan, my son was born the day after we won our last cup. Best 24 hours ever. In 03. What a year. What a season. SST said it showed today Sullivan outcoached Keefe. I mean, I think that's a little bit of a stretch. I would say the guys the Rangers put out outplayed our guys, but I know if you want to put that on Keefe, by all means, go ahead. Devil Heaven 77 AC asked the clown about 94. He will tell you. That clown might not even know about 94. I mean, they know of 94, but again, from VHS tapes. Cody Skills, Blue Jackets will probably make the playoffs over the Rangers. I could see that. But again, when you have Shesterkin, assuming he could have a little bit of a rebound year, I think it will be hard for them to miss the playoffs. Preseason doesn't mean anything yet. It does. Devil Heaven, Ace, favorite pie in New Jersey. I'm not really a pie guy. Not going to lie. I'm way more of an ice cream pastry kind of guy. Not huge on the pies, but if anyone has any good pie recommendations, I'm certainly interested in those as well. Rangers win this one. Brandon, I'll guarantee this. The fact that Luke is not signed yet. Fitz is probably lowballing Luke so hard trying to make a contract to meet the salary cap. I can guarantee Fitz made an offer for 8 years for $6 million. I mean, if he did that, he probably got laughed at. I mean, to think that he would sign for 8 years for $6 million, it's ridiculous. And an insult. And if I was Luke, I would be insulted. Tasha, I mean, acting like it's their year after this preseason game. Oh yeah, if you're somehow gonna go from, your AHL team beating the Devils AHL team, and that means you're gonna win a cup, then I would love to be as delusional as some of these people. Michael S. Hobbies Deli with the Lundqvist soup only bowls, no cups. I think I've seen that sign. Evan, we were sitting next to you today. I wish we got the big fight. Shout out to Evan. Yeah, Evan, I'm a little disappointed too. Maybe I jinxed it when I said it to you. It's possible, Evan, but great meeting you. Yeah, and I'm upset. I really thought we were going to get McDermott Rempe. Tasha, Ace, top 3 least favorite Rangers. Current or all time? Current or all time? If you're going all time, it's easily in no particular order. Mark Messier, Sean Avery, Messier, Avery, probably Messier, Avery, and probably Lindros. Even though he's not like, no one really thinks of him as like a career. He obviously wasn't a career Ranger, but he did go there. I'd go him. I also hate Zibanejad. Rangers versus Utica today. Everyone relax. Metro is weak this year. Cody Skills, who is your pre-playoff picks to make it? I'm going to have a video about that closer to the season. What is Ace Pizza or place? Or are you asking me about pizza? I obviously love pizza. Tasha, pastries and ice cream better than cake for sure. Yeah. Italian pastries and ice cream for me all day over pies and cakes. But listen, I'm an equal opportunity employer. There's not many desserts that I do not like. How long will Luke hold out? What are we thinking on contract? How long? I think eventually it gets probably done at somewhere around, I'm hoping 8 years at like $9 million. If he's demanding much more than that, then it would leave a bad taste in my mouth. But don't worry, don't you guys worry. I don't bite my tongue. If and when the deal is announced, you will get my full, unfiltered thoughts on said contract, probably moments after it's announced. Tasha says, I bet Fitz is trying to get him within the cap. His wording was so strange in the press conference. Will you be trading or using LTIR for the Luke contract? Then he says, no, we have it all figured. Yeah, I think he's just trying to be a little coy. There's no way that he's getting him under the cap that we have right now without making a trade. And I don't think the trade's going to happen necessarily either. It seems like, he's just trying to do like a little sleight of hand and that Luke is going to have to be fit under the cap by moving Kovacevic to LTIR. Cody has Metro, 1 Canes, 2 Devils, 3 Blue Jackets. I could see that. I could also see a world where the Devils win the division. Wouldn't that be something? Brandon Thomas, the fact fits that the Luke contract is going to meet the salary cap, I think says it all. No, I think he was just trying to say, like, we have a plan to make it work. And the plan probably involves the LTIR move, but it also could involve a trade. SJ says, Fitz is delusional. No way Luke signs for 6. I could see that happening. That wouldn't surprise me. Domi. Yeah. I don't think of him as a Ranger because that was like years ago, but he would be on the list as well. Oh, man. Yeah, Michael says Messier, Ulf Samuelson, Rempe. Oh, yeah. How could I forget about Rempe? My mind defaults to, like, older guys, but Rempe's definitely on there. Tasha says, I wouldn't be super surprised if they got the contract done tomorrow. That'd be nice. That'd be nice. Devil Heaven, favorite pizza pie we call in upstate New York. Favorite pizza. SST says, chocolate cake is better than pastries and ice cream. You don't know ball, Tasha. I don't know what kind of chocolate cake you're talking about, my friend, but if you've ever had like good pastries from somewhere, I think you would understand. Khalil says, I grew up with the current players. I hate on the Rangers of Benajad, Panarin, Lafreniere. Devil Heaven fired up the new NHL 26 today with my nephew. Game is sick. The games now are way too advanced for me. I checked out of video games a long time ago. What I'm doing right now, this is my adult version of video games. Just mindless, whatever you want to call this. This is all the video games I have now. Super big Devils and Mets fan. I was at the game today, and I get it's preseason, but we got to be better because that was not good, even though it was preseason. Yeah, don't get too caught up in it, though. It is preseason. Most of our guys weren't playing. Obviously, you want to see the win, but you take the good away from the game, and the good was that Cotter and Gritsuk look like they have some chemistry. And I would say we have some other guys that might be capable or probably are capable of joining the big club in a pinch if they need to. And you're talking about guys like Bordeleau, Crookshank. I've been excited about Edwards for a while. Tasha says, RIP Capo Caco could have been a rivalry staple. Well, I mean, the videos that the Devils put on the board last year at one of the Rangers games was epic trolling. Yeah, Beachmaster, we lost McLeod for nothing. He was banished from the league. Brandon says, I don't think so, Ace. I'm pretty sure Fitz would have been pretty vocal about that plan. I don't. What do you want him to be completely for? I mean, you have to understand when they ask GMs questions that there is a little bit of a, I'm not going to call it like a mystery, but they're not going to be a complete open book and forthright about what their plans are. But I have to believe it's most likely the LTIR thing, if I had to bet. Just because if there was going to be a trade, I think it would have happened already. So I have to believe the LTIR is the way it all gets solved, at least for now. Now, when Kovacevic comes back, super interesting scenario. What do they do to be compliant at that point? We will find out. Evan the Destroyer, Avery, Domi, Rempe. It's a very solid list of scum. Tasha, waiting for 26 to go on sale, and then I'll purchase. Bring back the old studio. The studio is going to be done before the regular season. I got a couple weeks. I think it's just going to be very similar to the other one in terms of what, you're going to see some photos and whatever. I'm not going to try to reinvent the wheel too much this time around. Tasha, that wasn't even our real squad. We had like a single line. Evan, I have a Rangers jersey as a doormat in my garage. Very nice. Tasha, Cody Glass played 18 minutes and Cotter played 22. Devil Heaven. Devils fans' top PK of all time? Top penalty killers? Is that your question? Nicole, I heard McLeod was signing with the Canes when he's eligible October 15th, but that could just be a rumor. No, I think too many people have reported it. I think he's definitely going to be a Cane, and he's probably going to scorch us. It sucks. It sucks, but that's the reality. I think he's going to probably fit in perfectly there. Collect records. I guess Luke gets 8 by 9.25 at the end of last season and stick by that. Would love sub 9 million, but I just can't see it on a long term. Be like, how far apart can they be? Like that we're missing days of camp and preseason for this. Like, just make it happen. Puck Rock Rangers going on. No way NYR is completely dog shit this year. Look forward to the March battles. Good to see you, Ace. Yeah, I don't think so either. As long as Shesterkin still has a breath, I think your boys make the playoffs. I do. But Bob, Luke is trying to get some extra money back for Jack. Yeah, but if you want to, you got to leave some meat on the bone, and especially if they want Quinn to come, right? Like, I'm telling them, like, listen, if you want Quinn to come here, you're going to have to leave some meat on the bone, and so is Quinn. If you guys want the Hughes Corporation in New Jersey, sign on the line that is dotted for something that's not completely hamstringing the organization. Brandon, I think Fitz is too lazy to make any moves and lowballing Luke into a contract. I mean, listen, he has a job to do, and that's to get his players the best available price. But at some point, I feel like from either side, they should be like, this is the lowest we're going to accept. Take it or leave it. If I was Fitz, I'm so curious what's Fitz's highest number been for an 8-year deal. I'd imagine he already has had to tried 8. So maybe we're talking about, you know, if the deal comes out and it's for over 10, I will judge Luke hard body. Like, I will be very upset. I'm hoping I could probably live with 9.5. I think anything over 9.5 is really going to irk me. And I'm hoping it's closer to 9. I would love to be sub 9. Devil Heaven, the tomatoes are still ripping in the garden. Nothing like the garden veggies. Farm to table, baby. Fresh tomatoes. SJ says, McLeod to Canes. I hate them so much. I know. And that guy, he's gonna fit in perfectly there. He's going to Hot Rod University. McLeod will thrive under Brendan Moore. SST says Samuelson is top 3 most hated players ever. Devil Heaven Ace, grab some smart lighting around the studio. Nice red backlight. It's all coming. Noah, honestly, I hated Chris Kreider and his smugness after scoring. Didn't like him either. Beachmaster McLeod fits Kane's system very well. Husky, Madden, Pando, PK killers. Oh, for sure. We're talking about penalty killers. Madden and Pando. I talk about these guys all the time. And I did an interview, wasn't super brief, but a shortened one with Pando at BU last year, hoping to reconnect with him and do a little bit of a longer kind of retrospective about his career, because we were talking a lot about like BU and stuff. I'm going to drop that in the chat for the young kids. Pando's an underrated legend, as well as Madden. I just put my interview with him in the link. But Madden and Pando, just 2 of the most underrated guys in Devils history, both 2-time Cup champs with the 2000 and 2003 New Jersey Devils. And what an era. What an era. Khalil says, I wonder when McLeod joins the Canes, what number he's going to be, because Aho is number 20. At this juncture, I don't think McLeod cares what number he is. He'll take any number on an NHL jersey and be thrilled. Tasha, just the thing with this Luke deal seems like they only started working on it like a week ago. It certainly seems that way. And maybe it was always going to come down to forced urgency because of the season starting and there was never any way around it. But it does seem silly that, like, you can't kind of get to the finish line prior to this all happening. But, you know, it is what it is. Everyone knows when the true deadlines are. And so Luke seemingly is going to miss maybe all the preseason. Devil Heaven, I'll go Gomer and Pando, Mad Dog, McKay, Peluso, legends. Husky and Shane, damn, I miss Gomer. I think we all do. Tasha, as long as there's isn't a bridge, which at this point probably won't, because in a few years Luke will definitely get like 10 plus. You would think that is the case. And so that's why you gamble and maybe overpay for the first couple years and hope that it ages very well, like the Jack contract did. But what does that number look like for Luke now? We will find out sooner than later, I think. Brandon, I'm predicting Fitz is going to pull the trigger on whatever Luke is offering the night before the opener. That would be, man, if this goes on for that much longer, that'd be brutal. Luke just missing everything to start the season. Tasha, Ace, rank your rivalries for the Devils like from, I guess you could say, best. Are you talking about teams? Are you talking about team rivalries? Yeah, I hope we see more of the NHL guys Tuesday night. We'll see how that goes. Oh, yeah. Rangers number one. I would say mid-90s to the early 2000s. The Flyers was probably number two. But there hasn't been a ton of rivalries, honestly. I would say Rangers, the Flyers, mid-90s to early 2000s. Flyers would probably be number two. But now I feel like it has to be, in recent times, it has to be the Canes. They've just owned us in the playoffs. And now, division rival, Canes. And then outside of that, there really, in my opinion, hasn't been much. I guess if I had to pick, for a couple years there in 2000, 2001, you'd have to include the Maple Leafs because we played them in the playoffs 2 years in a row. And then, Ty Domi hit Niedermayer with the elbow. Those Leafs, some of those Leafs teams are very good, and they may have had the roster to go to a cup final if the Devils weren't in their way. With Cujo, Matt Sundin, they had a lot of talent. Brandon, if Luke gets anything at 8.5 to 9.5, I think it's safe to assume Fitz for sure has been offering Luke $6 million. I can't see him being that delusional. I feel like his first offer had to be like in the 7.5 range, with a whole dissertation paper as to why it wasn't insulting, even though I think it is. But $6 million, I think, is a joke. Like I feel like if Fitz ever offered $6 million, I can't fathom what the reaction would be. Tom, I hope it does. Luke is good, but not holdout good. Plus 2 shoulder injuries in 18 months. Dude needs to chill the demands and prove it. This is it's a different world, guys. This is the entitlement generation. And athletes have a lot more power now than they did in the past. That's just part of what it is. It's all part of the game now. Devil Heaven, are we talking next year, McDavid $18 million a year contract? We're going to see. I think you can make the case that he's worth even more than that, but I think he is a guy that wants to win desperately and will leave meat on the bone to have the best team around him, and I think ultimately it is in Edmonton. I don't think he leaves. Khalil, at this point, the Luke extension past the Mercer extension took so long. Brandon says, I have a feeling the current offer is 8 years at 7.5. That seems pretty low, but that would be amazing. SST, better to overpay in 3 years when you see Luke proved himself than now when he is a nobody. I mean, that's easy to say now because you don't believe in him, SST. But if you could get him for, call it $9 million a year for 8 years now, or sign him for a little cheaper for 3 years, then he's asking for 12 or 13. I mean, that's a pretty big loss. Husky Unchained, Toronto was a big rivalry for me. Back in the day. I lived close to Toronto, so I'm a little biased. I mean, we had so many battles. So many battles over the years. And the Domi elbow was crazy. The Domi elbow was just a crazy one in the history of the rivalry. Scott Stevens was in the box foaming at the mouth. I thought he was going to come out and kill him. I really did. SJ says maybe Luke won't budge on the 5 years. I can't see them drawing a hard line in the sand there because I think it's just completely unrealistic. Fighting over money is different, but to think that a GM of a pro sports team is going to allow you and your brother to go into free agency at the same time, I think is kind of pipe dreamy, super hopeful stuff. Like, come on, who's really doing that? It'd be crazy. Brandon, signing Luke anything more than $6 million forces him to do something this season. That's why I really believe he's been offering Luke the rest of the salary cap. I mean, that's just a horrible tactic if he thinks it's going to work. Like, $6 million was never happening. Tasha, this better be taking such a long time because Fitz is trying to get him to leave some meat on the bone. If it ends up without that result, I'll be pissed because this has taken so much time. John Fay, apparently there was 3 or 4 fights in the Battle of Ontario, which is Leafs versus Sens. Love the fisticuffs. Tap, need to sign Luke at 8, no matter the amount. With Jack and Luke signed long-term, we have all the leverage to get Quinn. Completely agree, and I think that's the thing that people keep forgetting. Now, listen, I'll be the first to say, I am far from these other people that are like salivating at getting Quinn Hughes. Like, I'll be thrilled if we get him, don't get me wrong, but I would much rather use whatever resources or cap space on a big time forward than Quinn Hughes, in my opinion. But I'm also realistic, and I know that the organization is all in on getting all three Hughes brothers. So I understand that's what's going to happen. And signing Luke long-term right now is the second piece of the puzzle. Jack is already here for 5 more years. You sign Luke for 8 years, then it's like, okay, when Jack's eligible for an extension, he's clearly going to sign because Luke's already here. And then Quinn comes here at some point, whether it's in a trade in the next 2 seasons or he signs here in free agency on July 1st, 2027. All three Hughes will, in fact, be New Jersey Devils, and that is why this Luke deal is so crucial to Fitz, because it's the big piece of getting Quinn here. Taj says, at least we aren't in the McTavish situation. Man, that's getting ugly. That's an interesting one to keep an eye on in Anaheim. Very curious to see how that ends up. Devil Heaven, remember watching those first and second rounds back in the day? Carolina first round, second round, Toronto, sending Darcy Tucker the suicide hit bomber. He was a scrappy dude. Talk about throwbacks, man. Tasha, honestly, the Battle of Ontario playoff series the past year I enjoyed watching more than our own. Tom A, I don't want Quinn. We are set at D. Don't want to be top heavy. Well, Quinn's coming. I much rather have a big time forward too, but it's not happening. It's not happening. So, you know. Noah, I'm just thanking God that by all indications, Luke is signing 8 years and not 5 or 3. Imagine all the stress and anxiety we're avoiding because of it, of him possibly leaving. Husky, if Casey gets Luke's ice time, I won't be upset with him sitting out for a few months. I mean, if he ends up sitting out for a few months, that would be, in my opinion, one of the wildest things we've seen in quite some time. I mean, missing regular season games, I honestly never thought it was even a remote possibility that it could come to that. But now that we're here after the first preseason game and he's still not signed, at this point, nothing would surprise me. Nothing would surprise me at all. If this bleeds into the regular season, oh my God, what a disaster. Michael, I'd rather not trade anything for Quinn. We are set on D and need a top 6 forward far more. Doesn't make sense to give up good assets for a position the team is pretty much set at with this UFA upcoming. No, I agree. And that's why I do think there's a value to have him 2 years earlier, though. And if there's a scenario where they're taking on Dougie or you have a separate deal involving Dougie, I would do it because this team is, in my opinion, mostly it's built to win now. Those 2 years are crucial. And so I would give up assets to get Quinn sooner, but I'm not going to go like absolutely bonkers like some of these ridiculous proposals I've seen out there. But I certainly would give up a decent amount to get Quinn here now. With that being said, if they're asking for too much, we should still be in a position to win a cup relatively soon from the 2-year mark from now. So if we have to wait and get Quinn in free agency when it costs us nothing other than money, that's ideal. Obviously, give up no assets, no players, no prospects, no picks. You just sign him in free agency and he comes over. But because they're going to try to get him, I'd be interested to see what it would take to get him in a trade sooner. Because, you know, what is our goaltending going to be in 2 years from now? There's a lot of question marks kind of over that, what that era of Devils hockey will be. We have Markey. He's a win now guy. We have some vets on D. Like, I would just like to make the push now. Is Jason Robertson worth 10 or 11 million? He might be worth more. Depending on what he does. I think this is the last year on his deal. Yeah, I think he has the potential of getting monster money. Yeah, 80 points the past 2 seasons, nearly a point a game. In 22-23, he had 109. He was over a point a game in 21-22 with 79. Yeah, I mean, he might get paid super cash. Super cash. Devil have an absolutely ace entitled era. I see it with my buddy's kids, so I appreciate the way I was raised. Now, I tell people all the time, I'm glad I grew up in the time I did. Kids played outside. We played manhunt. We played sports. went on bike rides. We weren't electronically tracked by parents with cell phones and all this shit. It was just a better time of life. Kelly, I have a cat named Luke Hughes. Very nice. Army, Grits looked like he could have top 6 skill. Amazing shot, but we need a big money forward too. I agree, but I just don't see, outside of like some unexpected trades, where the cap space would come from to make that happen. Brandon, Fitz clearly has zero interest in getting another top 6 guy. And I agree with Brandon. I think he likes our top 4. You got Jack and Brader, Nico and Timo. And then he's like, the last 2 spots have to be filled by a bunch of these guys that are here, whether that is Mercer and Dadonov or potentially a guy like maybe Cotter or Grits. They'll just, if the 2 that are starting in those top 2 lines don't pan out, Fitz loves this opportunity thing. We have opportunity, and he thinks that just 2 of the other guys in the forward group will emerge as legitimate top 6. And, I would love to see a real top 6 brought in. I really would. I just don't think it's that realistic. And I think for everyone expecting it, I think you're setting yourself up for heartache. I said that's fair for Robertson. Does your cat chase the puck during games? My cat always has his stick down. Tosh says, I'm still delusional and holding out hope for the Robertson to Devils rumors. I don't know that any of those rumors were ever credible or if they were just speculation. And again, this is why I do hate the clickbaity nature of all this stuff, because it's like, some of these things are just like completely fabricated. I don't know that there was ever even a real thing on that. I remember seeing it a couple months ago, and I feel like it was mostly speculation. Devil Heaven 70s, 80s, easier, simpler, awesome times. Rico, we need to drop Palat, then give that cap to Luke while getting a top 6, even if that means losing our first or second pick. Well, Palat wouldn't be enough to – just Palat would not be enough to cover Luke and a top 6. Like, our cap space is not very good. You would need more than Palat to go out to bring in a top 6. Tasha, I'm sure glad my parents didn't stick me in front of an iPad and let that raise me. Oh, boy. These kids and their devices, the tablets, the phones. OG NJ Devils fan, just for the record, this situation we're in needing a top 6 forward is because of bad contracts like Palat. Get rid of his and Dougie's contract, and we got a top 6 forward in Quinn Hughes. Palat and Dougie. No, you're still missing some money, because I think we probably need $2 or $3 million right now easily of, let me just see. Again, I'm going to keep using the $9 million number. Yeah, so you're talking about the Devils have 5.2 right now. So call it, they need close to $4 million or so, plus or minus, just to cover Luke, right? So you're talking about, even if Palat's gone, that covers Luke and gives you $2 million extra. And if you get rid of Dougie at 9, that's $11 million. Quinn Hughes right now, I think it's like 8 something. 7.85, an amazing value. You're talking about you'd have $3 million left. You're not getting a top 6 for $3 million. The cap situation is not good right now. M Sharp, D-Cat, true to its name, occasionally brings it up the ice. Jesper Bratt, my cat Luke. Okay. SST, next year Gritsuk will get $5 million, Nemitz $5 million, Casey $3 million. Luke must be traded now, or Bratt or Meyer will go instead. There's zero chance that Luke Hughes is getting traded. I don't know why you constantly talk about this. It's like clearly like it's so not even remotely possible that it's like my brain hurts when I read this stuff. Like, it's not happening. You think Gritsuk gets 5 next year, Nemitz 5. I could see the Nemitz thing. Casey $3 million. That one's interesting too. Brandon, wouldn't Covey have been put on LTR like 4 months ago if it was planned to sign Luke for anything over $6 million, though? I mean, not necessarily. Why? They could still do it now. I'm sure maybe Fitz was trying to make trades leading up to now to avoid having to do the LTIR thing. Husky, I dreamt we traded Luke for McTavish last night. That's quite a dream. Brandon, as far as I know, has Fitz ever signed anyone to LTI before? I think so. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Dougie was on LTIR. We just didn't use the freed up money. Jack's been on LTIR. I guess you're talking about Brandon. Did we use the freed up LTIR money? And the answer is no. M Sharp, top 6 will come with trades for our prospects. Potentially, but you still need the salary cap to be able to fit them, and that's the problem. We definitely have picks and prospects we could trade, no doubt, but they still have to fit under the cap. SJ, if Grits and Nemitz play well, we're going to need way more space. Tasha, too much for Casey, who probably wouldn't even be getting that much playing time in the NHL. M Sharps is true, raise the camp NHL. Devil Heaven 77, our future is very exciting. A lot of future weapons also. Time to win now, Fockers. You guys know I'm all about the win now. This is a huge season for this team. Many people were wishing for more activity and additions this offseason. It is what it is. But hopefully some guys step up. And we can go on a magical run. But it obviously starts with staying healthy. SST says, I am allowed to dream about Luke leaving. Well, you could dream about it all you want. It's not reality. Tasha, we actually had so much LTR money at this deadline, we could have gotten Rantanen as a rental. Super could have. I didn't want him, but he did tear it up for Dallas after kind of not necessarily dogging it, but he didn't look great in Carolina for his brief stint there. And then he got to Dallas and just had some dominant outings. Tasha, why would you even want Luke to leave SST? Why are you taking the bait, Tasha? Please don't feed the troll. You want the team to regress. SST says because he's overrated. Brandon, I personally don't see a world where we throw Kobe on LTIR and sign Luke. So then what do you think happens, Brandon? Dawes stunk. I mean, the team stunk in front of him as well. I can't put it all on him. People yelling at people for putting fake stuff in the chat. Saying Luke signed. Brandon, I have no idea. I think we have a lazy GM that just wants Luke to sign for the bare minimum. Well, he could want that all he wants. It's definitely not going to happen. He has a power agent, and the guy's no fool. M Sharp says SST slinging shit today. That's a pretty good one. Oh man. Let me check my fantasy football team. Oh no. Some of these guys really screwed me. Jordan Love. Terrible outing at the quarterback position. T. Higgins, terrible. Oh, yeah, I had some stinker performances. Last week, my team was awesome. This week, my team is pure garbage, and I'm probably going to lose. It's going to take another crazy game by neighbors to bail me out. Travlin says Lou would have told Luke to kick rocks. Oh, for sure. SST said, I don't mind Luke on $6 million for 8 years, but 9, thanks, but no. Well, the $9 million is much closer to what the real number will be than 6. I think, that's pretty obvious. Pretty obvious. Anyone got anything else? Closing time. Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna need some help here. My fantasy team's getting massacred. Nicole, I like the Hughes brothers, but the team is more than the Hughes show. I think everyone knowing full well the Devils want to collect all the Hughes brothers gives them too much power with negotiating. I know, but the team should be like, you guys want this more than we do. I mean, that should be the reality, but who knows? But yeah, I mean, there's so many guys I'd rather have than Quinn Hughes, if I'm being honest. Not defensemen, but forwards. Tasha, I guess this is probably taking so long also because of Quinn being our number one in the future. Yeah, I mean, you right. It's like, yeah, you want your brother here. Well, that diminishes your value too, because guess what, Luke? You're not going to be power play one quarterback anymore. And so that's kind of being priced into your deal. You want to be paid, power play one quarterback, but when your brother gets here, you're not power play quarterback anymore. I'm power play one. So do you want to max your money, or do you want to, leave a little bit of that meat on the bone for when your brother gets here? I don't know. All I'm saying is the Luke contract, nothing is adding up or making sense. They seem so far apart. And honestly, the owner's paying for Luke. That could be. I'll be back 1 second, guys. Bathroom break. We'll start winding this thing down. Closing comments, thoughts, suggestions. Throw it in the comments. I'm using the bathroom real quick. We'll start winding this thing down. Be right back. Be right back. And we're back. And we are back. Just pay-wise. If Quinn is here, Luke is automatically number 3 D ceiling. I mean, figure it out. SJ says, even if the Hughes leaves, the sun will rise. Devils come first. I've a million times have said it is the New Jersey Devils, not the New Jersey Hughes. With that being said, they are going to have, a little bit of power around these parts. I mean, they already do. Nicole, watch us bend over backwards to get Luke, only to have Quinn not come to play with Luke and Jack. I can't see it, Nicole. Obviously, there's a world where it could happen, but I think it does. I really think it does, because you're talking about if Luke signs here long-term, then you're talking about, realistically, it not happening probably until they're in their 30s. I mean, towards the end of their careers. You'd think they would want to do it when they're younger. Who knows? Some of them might get married and have kids and stuff. Like, what a reality show, right? If Quinn, even if he doesn't come here for 2 more years, they'll all be fairly young, and they'll probably all be without children. So maybe they could have like a Hughes Hockey House bachelor show reality TV. That would be certainly entertaining. Husky says, good show, Ace. Later all. Let's go Devils. See you later, Husky. M Sharp says Luke gets at least 8.5 for length. I think 8.5 would probably be like the minimum. And I would be thrilled at 8.5. I think for me, my max in my head, I just feel like 9.5 is super generous. I hope it's less than that. Tasha, all right, I'm going to watch some more preseason hockey of miscellaneous teams. Take care, Tasha. Brandon, does anyone else here think the owners are going to pay for Luke? I mean, they're going to have to pay. Cap will keep going up. Obviously, part of the negotiation tactics with all these players. Aiden Hennessy, the team today looked like they did not know what they were doing. Don't put too much stock into it. Bunch of minor leaguers for the most part. SST, Luke must give a good discount because Fitzgerald burnt 1 year of his, I guess he's talking about the entry level. Yeah, allowed him to be a restricted free agent this year, not the Lex. Luke is ungrateful SOB. It is true that 22-23 season, he played the last home game of the year for the Devils, made his debut, and then scored his first NHL goal in the next game in Washington. And that burned a year off his entry level. It is true. Like he should be waiting till the next year, but the Devils did gratuitously do that. I do think they saw some value in him, and they wanted that spark for the playoffs. But a lot of teams would not have done that and preserved the entry level. That is a fair point, SST. M Sharp, owners are starting to worry me. They have to want to win. Oh, M Sharp, we could go on this forever. It's unfortunate. I have my reservations as to how much they truly want to win. A topic for another day. But hopefully they start getting serious soon. Yeah, burnt 1 year of the entry level. Brandon, I could say, though, if they avoid the LTIR money for Luke, then the owners are obviously a problem. Well, I think that's already been displayed with the other years of not using LTIR money. When the playoff loophole was there, it was there. It's closed up now. We had 2 years to try to capitalize on it, and we didn't. And now we coulda, woulda, shoulda. Tampa did it and won a cup. Vegas did it, won a cup. Florida did it and won a cup. It was a tried and true, proven method for teams truly trying to win now. Expose the LTIR loophole for the playoffs. You put guys on LTIR, you go get other guys, and then all of a sudden come the playoffs, everybody's healthy and ready to go, and you're like 12 million over cap. I want to say that the Lightning that 1 year may have been like 15 million or something over the cap. Completely insane stuff. M Sharp says quit only comes if we make the finals. I don't think so. I don't think that that's true. I think he has to believe if he comes here, it'll help them get to the finals. Tasha, all things considered, Gritsuk English really isn't all that bad. He's on Malkin's level. No, not at all. He had the other guy helping him translate, but he can speak English for sure, and it will only improve it in time. Michael, why would the owners not want to pay Luke? The team is a cap ceiling team. They're paying the same amount of money regardless. Only difference is when the money is paid depending on bonuses and structure. No, Michael, I think they're talking about in terms of LTIR, because if they don't make a move and put Kovacevic on LTIR to fit Luke, that means that they're technically spending more money out of their pockets than the cap ceiling. Because the LTIR, it's not free money. It's still money that's paid. It's allowing you to improve your roster while these guys are hurt. Yeah, great idea, the bro show. Devil have an ace, be good, brother. Chicken parm time. Go Devils. Sign on the ex-Lukinator. Enjoy that chicken parm, man. I'm jealous. Michael S. Ace, thanks again for providing a place to go after the games. Thanks for coming by, Michael. Appreciate you. SJ, I think Quinn is torn. He loves being the captain of his own team. The pull of his brothers is strong. I think playing with your brothers in an American city is hands down much more appealing than being the captain of a Western Canadian team. Now, I could be wrong, but it seems like that's the case. Dubzilla, 47, the glass line looked pretty good today. Cotter loves to hit, and that's some good speed with the wingers. Grits has a lot to learn, but seems like a good kid. I like the potential there as a third line. Now it's time to find who can play 4C between Palat and Brown. Like that Cotter Gritsuk line could be the fourth line. It seems like at the moment that's what their plan is. With Palat, what did they have it as? It was Palat, Glass, and Brown, potentially. Yeah, I would like to see Cotter and Gritsuk be the third line, ideally, over Palat and Brown as the third line wingers. But these are all things that will get figured out in the next couple weeks. as camp rolls on and preseason. Brandon, I still can't believe we still have Plot after his horrible season last year. It wasn't that. I mean, listen, if it wasn't for the money, guys, Plot he still has value. It's just not what he's getting paid, and that's why he's a target. I do like Pally, I do. But when you look at the roster, you're like, where do we get the most? Where do we create the most opportunity, right? And that opportunity by getting rid of Plot is the opportunity of having $6 million more in cap space and a roster spot for one of all these guys trying to force their way on. Kelly says, all cat Luke's aside, how about McLeod to the Canes, though? It sucks. It sucks, and I hope he doesn't come back to scorch us. Imagine if, like, he scores like we play them in the playoffs and he scores like a series-clinching overtime goal or something. I would vomit. Dubzilla says, could be the 4th, too. Dubzilla, Brown and Plot will be solid pairing. Stop panicking. Everyone need a center there. Yeah, the bottom, the 4C could very well be Lamico. Probably, if I had to bet on it, that's probably what I would put my money on. Juho Lamico. All right, guys, that's it. It's been fun. You guys are officially hockey junkies. Appreciate you all. Preseason post-game talk. I will have some. The vlog will come out tomorrow from tonight's game. There'll be a $23 chicken sandwich review on there. Some warm-up stuff. Some other in-arena stuff. You know, the standard kind of vlog fare. Will be out. Probably some shorts, the little shorts. People like seeing the players and the warm-ups and all that. So all that will be out. And we'll be back Tuesday night with another post-game live after the Islanders game. If you're thinking about going, go buy tickets, guys. They're cheap as they're ever going to be to see NHL asterisk action. Good times. Aiden says he's not going to scorch us in the regular season. He will in the playoffs, though. It'd be horrible. Gary, do you think LaChance makes the team? I think at some point we see him. I think the injury really hurt him in terms of forcing his way onto the roster for opening night. But he'll be right there on the bubble if there's injuries. Beachmaster, should Fitz be responsible for losing McLeod? How could Fitz be responsible for that? That court thing, he was banished. And then I don't think any of the guys involved in that are returning to their original teams. And I told everyone forever ago that the Devils aren't going to look into bringing him back. That was just obvious to me. And it was confirmed by the Devils. I forget who asked. I think it was Christy Flannery. But it was confirmed that they were not in on McLeod, which should have been a surprise to nobody. And it is what it is. I can't blame Fitz for that. Aiden Hallinan should make the team. He has a wicked shot. I like Hallinan. I just think there's a lot of competition for those bottom 6 spots, and I only think there's really 1 or 2 at most up for grabs. Can Plot put 50 points? I'd be impressed. I think he would have had a chance if he played with the big dogs. If he played with Jack and Brader, I don't think it'd be impossible. But given that he's not going to play with them and he's going to be in the bottom 6, I just can't see any world where he gets 50 points. I mean, that'd be phenomenal. Gary, he could go in front for power play. LaChance, yeah, great net front presence. I could see him potentially getting a sniff on power play too, but I just think we have so many power play type guys right now. It's going to be hard for guys to get that type of chance. I think a lot of these guys would just be thrilled with making the team. Troy Machine, what's going on? Just got here. Any doomers yet? No, pretty sensible people in here today. Just, it's a preseason game. It is what it is. No one's getting too bent out of shape about losing it. Gary, does this make Nason expendable? I don't think so. He's one of our heavier, edgier, more violent guys, a veteran. I just think the team will be looking for guys to pick up the slack while he's gone, but I can't see him being moved on. I think he's a great piece for the team and will improve the team when he's back, whenever that is. All right, but thanks, you guys. Hit the thumbs up for your boy on the way out. Really appreciate that. Really appreciate you guys coming by. Follow me on X. Follow me on Instagram. Trying to do more stuff on there. For this season and going forward. Always fun chatting with you folks. Unfortunately, Devils lose the preseason game here against the Rangers, but I'm not too worried. Not too worried. The main thing was Grits looks like he could be special. Goal and an assist. Him and Cotter were cooking it up. I like that tandem. Who's their center going to be? Do they stick together? Let's see what kind of damage they could do. Hopefully we see more of the NHL guys in the lineup on Tuesday. And preseason rolls on, guys. I am fired up. Thank you all for joining the first post-game live in nearly 5 months. Completely insane. What a long, painful summer. But that's it. Back soon. Vlog dropping tomorrow. Maybe some other stuff. And that's all I got. I'm going to go try to find some food somewhere. Thank you all for watching. I love you all. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go